Roxy is delighted when she notices Alfie and Kat's decree eyesight. Well, she is, until she realises Alfie isn't going to tell her about it. But how final is it? Alfie and Kat are clearly crushed by the document, but he's adamant they have to move on when she asks them to be a family again. Alfie finally tells down-in-the-mouth Roxy about the divorce, then proposes. But nothing's ever simple in the square, and when Roxy urges him to tell Kat, he procrastinates. Alfie isn't going to bottle it again, is he? Lucy urges Ian to sell Scarlett so he can pay off Carl and cut ties with Janine. But instead, he swindles a distracted Lucy into signing a document that transfers all the businesses back to him. Lucy discovers his deceit and confronts him in front of Peter and a disgusted Denise. But Denise learns Carl burnt his hand and wants the police in. Ian refuses. He knows he's in deep if he does. So he gives Carl $3,000. Carl turns it down, however. He wants the lot, plus interest. Ian tries to dupe Lucy into giving him the cash, but she realises he's manipulating her and disowns him. Next, we're on the cobbles. Peter Barlow's playing a high-stakes game of the bookies, and when Rob places a 500 quid accumulator, it looks like he'll lose everything. To Carla's dismay, Peter's offering silly odds to entice punters, and Rob places the bet knowing it'll ruin Peter. Rob's ecstatic when his final horse wins and demands his £35,000. But Peter says he can't pay up, and Rob threatens to sue him. Lloyd and Paul are still at loggerheads, and when Paul hears Lloyd is calling a racist, he tells Eileen there's no way he's apologising. The couple are made to feel like lepers on the street, and Eileen in particular is worn down by the feud. But eventually she and Mandy force them to call a truce, and Paul reluctantly apologises. Hayley's worried about her health. Her liver's showing abnormal function, but she hides it from Roy, who's banging on about living life without stress. She's sent for more tests and is told she has a blockage in her bile duct, and the dreaded Big C hangs in the air. Finally, we're in the Dales. Bob tells Dan he's going to propose to Brenda, but Dan discovers she's way ahead of him, so he urges Bob to move fast. Bob's big gesture is to book a brass band. How could any woman resist? For the day of Brenda's ceremony. But she's horrified when Dan appears to be disrupting her plans. Suddenly, on the day, Bob emerges with the brass band and proposes, and Brenda accepts. Then Dan appears with a helicopter to whisk them to the ceremony. Bob's still in the dark, but as they arrive at the glamping site, he realises he's been brought to his own wedding, and the couple are married by Nikhil. Chaz catches the bouquet at the wedding and tells Cameron, who's preoccupied with Debbie, that she wants to marry in Vegas in a fortnight. Cameron insists to Debbie it won't happen, he wants her. And Vanessa's controlling Rona's pills and is delighted when she calls off a holiday with Paddy to go on a spa break with her. What is Vanessa's game?